My boyfriend's best friend was also his ex. I tried to ignore the red flags, but now I'm discovering a web of lies and betrayal that could destroy us. This is a hard post to write. Forgive me. I have been the primary support for my wife since I was disowned for being gay 4 years ago. She got me a bus ticket. For that, I'm infinitely grateful. I feel like I have watched her decay in front of me. Either that, or she's always been like this, and I just became more cognizant of it. I thought she had depression. She eventually went to the hospital in 2017 for suicidal tendencies. We got married in 2018 thinking things would be better, but it hasn't gotten better. She will stay on her laptop all day and only get up to use the restroom or have lunch with a friend. She shares the trite self-help posts and drums up support and attention online. All of my friends here know her and knew her first. On the outside, we look happy together. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy spending time with her outside the house. I fell in love with her for a reason. We mesh well intellectually and have a great time together. The logistics of living with her fill me with dread and resentment. She does not help with house cleanliness or chores at all, and either willfully refuses or cannot comprehend putting things into trash cans. She will leave things like takeout trash on surfaces for months. The bedroom looks like a level 3 hoard. There's no visible floor, and the tallest parts of the refuse are at least at my hip joint. The rest of the apartment is less bad but still not good. She tells me that she can't get or keep a job because of her emotional state, but tells me that the psychiatrist believes her depression is situational, primarily based on her weight, and refuses to prescribe anything for it. She is obese. I am also, even more than she is according to BMI. Her mobility is compromised, and she doesn't seem that concerned about it. This scares the shit out of me. My wife's life plan currently entails at least 13 additional years of not contributing financially. This would be one thing if she was trying to be a doctor, but she's not. She wants to have kids and raise them as a stay-at-home parent for 6 years after getting a 4-year degree and get her master's after that. Now, I am not saying a stay-at-home mom doesn't contribute to the health of the family. My wife is not currently contributing now, and we don't have children. Frankly, the proposition of raising children with this woman given current factors gives me angina. I already feel like her caretaker. Why would I want to add a child to this? The current situation is that I have finally broken out of menial jobs, but I need to move. A part of that is cleaning out the apartment to get ready to leave. We agreed to have it done by June 1st. That deadline came and went. I told her that it needed to be done by July 1st at the absolute latest. I reminded her about the deadline every time we brought up the move. She told me to stop nagging her on the 10th, so I did. It is now the 22nd, and she has only taken 3 bags out of the 40 that it most likely needs, and the only reason she did that was because I was pissed on our anniversary with how I've felt like a pack mule for years. It is 9 days away from the deadline, and I can't take this anymore. I can't keep setting expectations and having them ignored or railroaded. I can't stand watching her care so little about my needs. I know that I should wait until July 1st to be fair to her, but I'm so hurt. I can't keep bearing my soul, working all the time, and maintaining a house for 2 people while I'm going through my own shit. I have a severe mental health condition that I keep in check with medication typically, and my wife told me she needed the money for something that, in hindsight, was ridiculous. That was the beginning of February. It's going to be July in 9 days. The thing that hurts the most is that she says the right things. She knows what to say. She doesn't do any of them more than once. A friend from college has volunteered to take me in while shit hits the fan. I'm scared of what my wife would do if I tried to leave. She talks a lot about her low self-esteem and how I'm the only thing keeping her going. She has been hospitalized before for suicidal thoughts and tendencies. I feel so much guilt, Reddit. I know intellectually that I can't be the one who wants to live enough for the both of us. I can't be the only one working towards progress. I will literally combust if I have to continue doing this. Divorce is ugly as a legal process, but I don't think I can keep going on like this. My wife is behaving like an addict, Maybe she is addicted to the internet and to her societal perception. That's for a smarter person than I, with a license, to figure that out. What do I do, Reddit? Wait until the 1st? Just pack a bag and get out? My friend says this is abusive, but I feel wrong using that term knowing that there are battered women on the streets. My wife doesn't seem to think I'm serious about the July 1st deadline. Thank you for reading. God, fate bless you. Update 1. I wrote here 2 months ago about my relationship with my wife. She was a hoarder and had a litany of other issues that were above my pay grade. I asked Reddit if I should leave by July 1st, and it was unanimous that I absolutely should. I didn't leave July 1st. I left the night of June 30th. The cleaning didn't get done, surprising literally no one. We were driving to our apartment, and I told her that I was really crestfallen about July wars. Why? Is that a bad date for you or something? I was furious but kept it to myself. I told her how I felt, and I reminded her of my deadline. I told her that I was moving out and that I was done. She cried and cried and cried and begged for a week to clean the apartment to show that she was committed to this marriage. I said that she was free to do it, but I wasn't going to sleep there during that, and I moved in with my friend. We agreed to reassess the condition of the apartment Sunday morning. She told me how spiritually edifying it was to clean. I was really optimistic for a bit. Wednesday comes and my Phil calls me, frantic. He's like a dad to me. He tells me that my wife emailed him, which she never talks to him unless she has to, and I asked why. He told me that she begged him to tell me to come back home. He remarked that it was bizarre, but I was incensed. No, Phil, it's not bizarre, it's shitty. She's trying to leverage you through our relationship to get me back. Saturday comes, and she sends me a message on Facebook saying, it doesn't look as good as I wanted it to physically, but I feel like I've made a lot of progress emotionally, and isn't that what matters? I told her that such progress would have been appreciated 2 years ago, but I had to walk. I couldn't do it anymore. She spent money online with our card without informing me on Yarn, and we had a disagreement about it. I told her that I wanted the bank account closed, but she couldn't bear to see me in person. I redirected my checks to a new account instead. It had been weeks, and I finally went back to get my things, and it got a lot worse. There was a water leak in the carpet, the litter boxes weren't taken care of since I took care of them the day I left, and she managed to move the microwave into her bedroom. The latter was particularly surprising because she refused to move anything heavier than 10 lbs because of a cited rotator cuff injury for years, and yet got a 40 lbs microwave into her room. I reported the conditions to my MIL, who co-signed the lease with us. She called me back to bemoan, "What am I going to do about my daughter? You don't understand how hard it is to have to think about how to take care of her." I snapped at Mill about her nonsense. She asked me what she should do about my ex-wife, feeding her histrionic personality. I told her that I had no idea, but she signed papers 27 years ago that made it her responsibility and not mine. I'm happily living with my friend. Her and I are currently figuring out what we are, but we're being supportive of each other and making each other's lives easier. We both just celebrated birthdays, happy quarter century, and that was perfect. I've been told that my ex-wife has had a much more rigid and stoic effect since I left. MIL told me that she didn't even say she missed me. It'd be nice if she came back. I heard from Fael that they're mad that the car I have is in my name. It was given to me as a graduation present and was an old family car. I start my new job tomorrow. I've been getting ready all last week, and I am so nervous but so excited. I'm really glad I left. My wife begged me for her last second chance, still didn't do anything. Tried to get her dad to bend my arm to come back. She wrecked the apartment even more since I left, so I notified Mill. Mill is more concerned about herself than her daughter. I'm happy with my friend, and I start my big girl job tomorrow, and thank God. Update 2. I wasn't planning on updating again, but some wild things have gone down in the last couple of weeks, and I think you all might appreciate the closure, or maybe you'll just be as shocked as I was. So, the first thing. I got my new job, and it's been going great. I'm loving the work, and it's such a relief to be in a more stable and supportive environment. My friend, who I'm officially dating now, yay, has been my rock through all of this, and I honestly don't know what I'd do without her. Things have been looking up, and I've felt more like myself than I have in years. But then last week, I got a call from my ex-wife's mom, MIL. I was hesitant to answer because, honestly, I just want to move on with my life. But something in me said to pick up, and I'm kind of glad I did. Mail sounded frantic, almost hysterical. She said that my ex had gone missing. Apparently, she hadn't shown up for a family dinner, which was out of character for her, and when they went to check on her, the apartment was a disaster. Not just the usual mess, but it looked like someone had torn through the place. Furniture overturned, drawers emptied, even the microwave, yes, the same one she'd dragged into her bedroom, was smashed on the floor. MIL was freaking out, saying she'd never seen anything like it. I didn't know what to say. I mean, what could I say? I told her I hadn't heard from my ex since I moved out and that I didn't have any answers for her. She kept pressing, asking if I thought she might have gone to hurt herself, but I didn't think that was it. I'd been worried about her mental health before, but this felt different. I hung up, feeling uneasy. I wasn't sure what was going on, but it was clear that something wasn't right. I decided to reach out to a few mutual friends just to see if anyone else had heard anything. One of them, let's call him Steve, said he'd seen her the day before she disappeared. He said she was acting weird, more paranoid than usual, and kept talking about how they were watching her. He didn't know who they were, and neither did I. Then, 2 days ago, I got another call, this time from FIL. They found her. She'd driven out to some remote area in the middle of nowhere, parked the car, and just started walking. They found her wandering around, looking completely lost and disoriented. When they brought her back, she kept saying that she needed to get away from the eyes. FIL was beside himself, not knowing what to do, and asked if I could talk to her. I was conflicted. On one hand, I've moved on, and I don't want to get sucked back into that mess. On the other hand, it sounded like she was going through something really serious, and I didn't want to just ignore it. In the end, I agreed to meet with her, just to see if I could help. When I saw her, it was like looking at a completely different person. She'd lost weight, but not in a healthy way, and she looked like she hadn't slept in days. She was jittery, her eyes darting around like she was expecting something to jump out at her. She barely made eye contact with me and kept mumbling about how they wouldn't stop watching. I tried to talk to her, to get her to tell me what was going on, but it was like she was in her own world. She kept saying that I was safe now because I'd left, but that they had started coming after her instead. I had no idea what to do or say, so I just listened. After about an hour of this, she suddenly got very calm and said that she needed to leave, that she had to finish what she started. I asked her what she meant, but she wouldn't say. She just got up and walked out. Fael tried to stop her, but she pushed past him and left. They haven't heard from her since. I don't know what to make of all this. Part of me feels guilty, like maybe I should have done more or stuck around to help her, but another part of me knows that I did the right thing by leaving. I can't save her from whatever's going on in her head, and it's not my job to try. I've got my own life to live, and I can't keep getting pulled back into that chaos. So, yeah, that's where things stand right now. I'm focusing on my new job, my relationship with my girlfriend, and just trying to build a life that feels healthy and sustainable. As for my ex, I don't know. I hope she gets the help she needs, but I've realized that I can't be the one to give it to her. I'm done with being her caretaker. It's time for me to take care of myself. Thanks for all the support, Reddit. I don't know what I'd do without you guys. Update 3. It's been a bit since I last updated, and things have taken an unexpected turn. I'm still processing everything, but I figured I'd share what's been going on because this whole situation has just been wild. So, after my last update, I was pretty shaken up by everything with my ex. I was trying to focus on my new job and my relationship, but there was always this nagging worry in the back of my mind. What if she did something to hurt herself? What if I really was the only thing keeping her from spiraling completely out of control? I tried to push those thoughts aside, but they kept creeping back in. Then, about 2 weeks ago, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't pick up, but something told me to answer it. When I did, it was a woman's voice, calm and measured, introducing herself as Dr. K, a psychiatrist. She said she'd been treating my ex and that she needed to speak with me about something important. I was immediately on edge. Why would my ex's psychiatrist be calling me? But she was insistent that it was crucial, so I agreed to meet with her. We set up a time, and a few days later, I found myself sitting in this sterile clinical office, feeling like I was about to be told something I really didn't want to hear. Dr. K started by asking me about my relationship with my ex, how things had been before I left, and what I knew about her current situation. I gave her a brief rundown, trying to keep it factual and not let my emotions get too involved. But then she dropped a bombshell. She told me that my ex wasn't just suffering from depression or anxiety. According to Dr. K, she had been diagnosed with something called paranoid schizophrenia. Apparently, she'd been showing signs for a while, but things had escalated significantly after I left. The eyes she kept talking about, those were hallucinations. She believed that she was being watched and monitored by some unknown entity, and it had driven her to the edge. I was floored. I knew she had issues, but I never imagined it was something this serious. Dr. K explained that my ex had been refusing medication, insisting that there was nothing wrong with her, and that the people trying to help her were actually part of the conspiracy. It was heartbreaking to hear, but also terrifying. I had no idea things had gotten this bad. Then Dr. K told me something that chilled me to the bone. My ex had been fixated on me ever since I left, convinced that I was the key to stopping whatever she believed was happening to her. Dr. K said that my ex had mentioned several times that she needed to finish what she started with me, and that she was worried about what that might mean. I didn't know how to react. What does that even mean? Was she planning to hurt me? Was she just trying to get me to come back so she could feel safe again? Dr. K said she didn't know for sure, but that I should be cautious. She recommended that I consider getting a restraining order just in case. After that meeting, I was a wreck. My girlfriend, because yes, we've made it official, was incredibly supportive, but I could tell she was worried too. I didn't want to live in fear, but the idea that my ex might show up out of the blue, possibly dangerous, was enough to make me start looking over my shoulder everywhere I went. A few days later, I got another call, this time from FIL. He told me that my ex had been admitted to a psychiatric facility after another episode, and that they were finally able to start her on medication. He sounded relieved, but also resigned, like he knew this was going to be a long road. I asked him if she had said anything about me, and he hesitated before saying that she had. Apparently, she was still talking about me, but it was less frantic, more like she was trying to prepare for something. FIL didn't know what that meant, and frankly, neither do I. So that's where things are now. My ex is in a facility getting treatment, and I'm trying to move on with my life. But there's this lingering sense of unease that I can't shake. I know she's in a safe place now, but I can't help but worry about what happens when she gets out. Will she still be fixated on me? Will she come looking for me? I'm trying not to dwell on it, but it's hard. For now, I'm focusing on the positives. My job is going great, my relationship is solid, and I'm in a much better place mentally than I was before. But this whole experience has left me feeling unsettled. I'm just hoping that my ex gets the help she needs, and that we can both move on with our lives. Thanks again for all the support, Reddit. I'm not sure if I'll update again, but I appreciate everyone who's reached out. Take care of yourselves.